So the FDA settled a lawsuit over ivermectin social media posts. Let me just go ahead and show you this Newsweek article on this. The FDA agreed to delete and never republish several social media posts suggesting that ivermectin, a drug that some doctors use to treat COVID-19, is for animals and not humans. While the FDA still does not approve of using ivermectin to treat COVID, it settled Thursday a lawsuit brought by 3 doctors who sued it, as well as the Department of Health and Human Services and its Secretary Xavier Becerra and FDA Secretary Robert Califf. All parties have settled. The lawsuit, filed on June 2nd of 2022, was brought by doctors Mary Talley Bowden, Paul Merrick, and Robert Apter, each of whom claimed the FDA was interfering with their ability to practice medicine. So what this case is about is they were saying, look, we use as doctors off-label drugs all the time. We prescribe these to people, and you, based on what we believe as doctors is in their best interest, you're the FDA. You're not supposed to be meddling inside of our practices and of medicine. And you did when you made all these social media posts. And as you see, remember when CNN was saying Joe Rogan was using horse medicine, and FDA came out with all these posts on social media telling people not to use the horse medicine when referring to ivermectin. And so they basically sued and said, for one, ivermectin is not horse medicine. It is used by people and animals. It's an award-winning, it won a Nobel Prize. And so you're interfering with what we believe is what was best for our patients. What this lawsuit did not do was did not affirm that ivermectin worked. This lawsuit did not, this settlement did not exonerate those of us who were reading the studies, seeing the many studies like Dr. Pierre Corey's studies. Also just, the reason why ivermectin was thought to have worked for COVID to begin with was because there was an Australian study that showed that in a petri dish, ivermectin, when given to COVID-19, seemed to kill the cells, or at least really slow down the replication process. So it was early, but at the beginning of the pandemic, people were just trying anything and everything. I myself bought a bunch of ivermectin. I tried it. I could say anecdotally, when I was caring for my dad who had COVID and I was very much in his face and he was coughing on me with a fever and all of that, I chose to do the protocol, the Dr. Pierre Corey FLCCC, and the prevention of COVID protocol. And I did not get COVID after being locked in, caring for somebody very closely with COVID. That's my anecdotal. But, many people have anecdotal stories like mine. Many people, then my husband at the time was, just more anecdotal. My husband, who was my fiance at the time, caught COVID from work. They were all vaccinated, right? They say, everybody get vaccinated so you don't get COVID. They all got vaccinated. They still all got COVID. It was a couple of weeks away from our wedding. I decided I want to get COVID. Now's the time. I don't want it at the wedding. I don't want it on the honeymoon. I don't want it to possibly interfere with any of our plans. So I went ahead. I didn't do the ivermectin at that time. Again, cared for him in close proximity. The same thing I did with my dad, and I caught COVID that time. So it's anecdotal. But nonetheless, there's a lot of studies of ivermectin showing that it seemed to work. There were a lot of countries that use ivermectin, and they seem to have low rates of COVID in the regions where they use ivermectin. So a lot of doctors wanted to, and it's never gotten its proper study because it was always blocked. They would basically rig the studies to ensure ivermectin failed because it was an assault against low-cost medicine. Ivermectin cannot be patented anymore. Ivermectin is safe over the counter in Africa. It's given out more than Tylenol in some countries. So ivermectin, there's no money for Big Pharma in this. And as we know, Big Pharma bought off a lot of our media and the narratives. And so this war on ivermectin was very blatant in our faces, and it was uncalled for. But unfortunately, this lawsuit doesn't really say that. The only thing this lawsuit basically affirmed was that the FDA does not have the right to meddle in medicine. With all they can do is approve medications. They're not allowed to then meddle with the actual practice of medicine. So as many people wanting to make this a big win for ivermectin, as much as I would love this to be a win for ivermectin, it's kind of one of those, again, another one of those cases where it's not the punch we wished it was. It's like semantics. It's saying, okay, FDA is not allowed to say this type of stuff. The CDC, on the other hand, they probably would be able to get away with it saying this type of thing. And so we'd have to wait and see how a lawsuit against the CDC might perhaps shake out. But that's just kind of the lowdown of what's gone on with this COVID, with this particular ivermectin lawsuit, was that it basically just said FDA is not a physician. And that's that on that one. So, but it's interesting, and we're making some progress. And it's good to know that there are people out there still fighting. It's good to know that people are out there still trying to get the truth out there, and that there's people out there trying to, trying with the courts to make change to ensure that the next time we are better protected against these bought off narratives by big pharma. So, congratulations to them for winning this suit and for the settlement. And of course, I'll keep you posted on any future settlements and any future court cases that we've got, especially regarding COVID-19. Hey guys, be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like this segment. Now, you might be wondering, this seems like it's part of a bigger show. You're right, it is. The full show is at KimIversonShow.com. So what you're watching is just a clip. And if you want to get the full experience, then you got to go to KimIversonShow.com. The show airs Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. That is where you can watch the full show. Here, you just get clips. So click on the link down below, go to the full show, enjoy. Otherwise, I'll see you next time right here. And be sure, once again, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.